And I talked with the sheriff's office has 2 deputies down there on Saturdays and Sundays, 2 deputies on holidays. At $30 an hour, that's $1,400 a weekend that they're spending. We're spending money down there just for the deputies part of it. I'm not picking on it. This is a Falmouth issue, and I know Tom and I have talked about this. I don't consider this a district issue. I think this is a county problem because all our taxpayers are paying for this, because it's costing us as taxpayers a lot of money. That's the reason I'm going to support this $25. And they are checking with the registration. The employees will be checking for registration and your driver's license. If you're out of the county, you're going to pay $25 on who you are. If you're a non-county resident, then you get to use it for free. It's just, we're just spending way too much money down there as far as the taxpayers are concerned. And I think if we have a little bit of money left over, we can go and maybe we can build your little bridge that we wanted at Griswold or whatever we need to do. But I don't think it's fair for the taxpayers. And again, if we've got an issue with the trash, and I'm shocked about what you were telling me about the trash and stuff was left in, I would think more people would be more concerned about the pollution part of it as far as the Rappahannock than anything. I think that's a big concern of mine also, is the trash issue. And I don't know how we're going to solve that. I think they've done other things, gone in there and talked to people, say you need to pick your trash up. But I think it's just too much of a burden on the taxpayers and the employees to have to go in there every single day, pick up trash for no reason. So at that point, I'm going to make a motion that we go ahead with the $25 and for non-residents on the Falmouth Beach.
So that we don't get lost in this, at least for me, and the intention of this. It's not to control people. It's to make things better for people. That's why I would do this. There are a lot of different factors in this that have been mentioned, but the reality is we all want our parks and we want them to be better. And so I think this is a good way to figure out how to go forward with that while making it safe in the process. So I'm obviously in support of this.
All right. Anybody else have any comments on this? Have you talked yet on this one? Or, okay, go ahead.
I will not support this because I think if we're truly doing a pilot program, what is good for one should be good for the other. So I think all of our beaches and water access, that public parks that have water access, should be looked at, because you can't just do it for one and not do it for the others when they both have the same similar issues. So I can't see why we're doing it for Falmouth and not for Aquia.
Mr. Cohen.
Okay. To me, whenever we're going to create a tax, and a fee is a tax, I have to get to the point where I see whether or not this is going to work. And fees are something the government imposes on people to pay for services, and that's what this is. It's the same as our water and impact fee that we voted on when we did the budget, and even if we are hitting people who don't live in the county, that is the same as our transient occupancy tax. So this is a tax. So before I go and tax, I need to look at this to see if it's actually going to solve what we want. During COVID, when staff looked at this and people were out of their jobs 7 days a week, staff felt that we only needed to put people down at this location on the weekends. This motion that is before us puts them there 7 days a week at a time when we do not have all the businesses closed. So that makes me wonder if staff will be sitting around doing nothing on the weekdays at 2 different locations, which I wonder if that's a good use of taxpayers' dollars. Next, to put up the fees, we need signs. That's going to raise the cost. So one of the supervisors raised how much it's costing. Now that you're having additional staff extra days, you're now going to be putting up signs at 3 different locations. That will increase the cost.
You know, I've gone there the last couple of weekends. I know this is something that the board's been trying to address for several years now, and I want to thank you, Mike, and your staff for trying to come up with some solutions. Definitely getting feedback from your staff down, boots on the ground, and making sure your leadership is there when we implement this is going to be critical. Making sure that they can, you know, we can fix any little hiccups or bumps in the road, because it is going to be a change, and making sure that we're advertising to people that this is happening and coordinating with Andrew's staff to make sure that it gets communicated out as much as possible, and then also working with the sheriff's office to gather feedback feedback as well will be critical in a successful implementation of the pilot. But for me, you know, when a public park is closed, it's trespassing. And when I went there the other day and our poor sheriff's office was the ones manning that, well, we need to make sure when it's closed that we have Parks and Rec staff there to kind of make people leave the property. And just to point out, I know there was some comments about parking in the road to unload families and then going to park other places. That's illegal. I mean, they can get tickets for that, and the sheriff's office should be citing people for tickets with that. In my mind, this is a deterrent to non-county residents that they have to pay. And they're already paying because they're using the guy's yard across the street when the parking lot is full. So, you know, we really need to crack down on that zoning and figure out what's going on over there. And my biggest reason for supporting this is it's such a disaster down there that we're now having the sheriff's office have 2 deputies every single Saturday and Sunday, and on holidays, even on Fridays. The same deputies who have to patrol Falmouth Beach are the same ones in our traffic safety unit. There's only 10 deputies in our traffic safety unit. So when there's a massive accident like there was the other day where there were 3 fatalities, those same deputies who had to man the HPUF had to also work that accident. They worked almost 24 hours straight and then had to get up and work a whole nother shift. So we cannot keep relying on the sheriff's office. We've got to do something with our Parks and Rec facilities to be able to man this on our own so that we're only having to call in the sheriff's office when it gets really, really bad for sort of reinforcement, but not expecting them to patrol this area because we just don't have the manpower to be able to do that. So that's the big reason that I'm supporting this. We've all asked to run more radar on the weekends. What could we do if we had those 2 deputies out there running radar all day? But instead they're riding around on 4-wheelers trying to get people who don't live here to not park on the side of the road and enter the park. So that concludes my comments, and I will go ahead and open it up for a vote. And this is to institute the parking fees, which is the ordinance 022-19. Yeah, the pilot. Yeah, that's in the ordinance. Yep. Cast your votes. Okay, tally the votes. This motion carries 5-2. Thank you very much. I know this has been a lot of work for you.